Right, welcome back to part 4, and the van is running and running perfect, and I had a few suspicions with it, all related to the fuel, and what it turned out to be was a high pressure fuel regulator. Now this just bolts onto the back of your fuel pump and a simple plug. I'm going to show you on this one actually. So this is your fuel pump coming in, and just here, and this basically just has a wee ram on it, and it controls the pressure in and out, whatever it does to the ram, and that's what it was doing. It was cutting off the fuel and it was making the vehicle cut out, starving it of fuel briefly. And I got a mechanic friend of mine and asked him, and just by showing him the live data on the computer he was able to figure it out. So simple 3 wee torques on that replaced it. Also, what was mentioned there, this is the fuel pressure sensor. That's not a regulator. Somebody pointed that out. Now that is different between that fuel rail and my fuel rail. That's different. However, everything else is the same. So that may be, if you're ever having any issues, something to look at. That's a fuel pressure regulator. So that's it sorted. I've already had a test drive up the lane. I'm not sure, I think my dad took a video of it. So what I'm going to do now is going to swap into the seats, because that's the only fault I have now on the dashboard, is because the seats are unplugged over there. I've got a spanner light and an airbag light. So I'm going to plug the seats in, the seatbelt tensioners, put the seatbelt into that, and then this has a bit of plastic where the window's been broken before. So I'll swap that over today, and then a few other wee things to do. The alloys are off a BMW X5, so the centres of them, a wee spigot things to fit to them, that'll have to be done. And basically now just go through and tighten everything, check everything, and make sure everything's 100% all put back together again. So I'll do a wee bit of a lapse, probably the seats coming out and things like that, and then we'll come back into it again. So I've taken off the door trim here, pretty straightforward. If I can remember in my head. Screw in here, a couple of screws in the side, and then it's on poppers, the yellow poppers. So you pull the door trim from the bottom up, lift it up, and then just unhook it over the top of the lock. This bar for the door is a couple of torque in here and a torque down there, and that loosens it. And then what I've done is I've taken the rubbers off the whole way around here, and between the two sets, as you can see, one of the door cards is cleaner than the other, especially inside it. So I'm just transferring the two bits over now to that fan, and we'll put this wee window glass in, and just with the other rubbers. So very quick. You can do it with just two different torques. And then as you can see here, somebody's been here before, they've actually left bolts off that's the window mechanism. So if you were doing the window mechanism, it'd be the same thing. Take all this off, undo these two bolts here, undo this bolt and this bolt at the top, and that frame there is your window mechanism. That'll all come out, and then you have to raise it up and unclip the glass at the bottom. Take the glass out first. So that would be just if you're going in that far to do that. And then if you needed to go into the door mechanism here, 3 more torques here, and then come in from the back, and that'll come out, and then just unplug everything. So I'll carry on a wee bit. It's pretty windy outside and pretty bad day today, so I'll just stick this door seal and things in, and then show you it finished, and then we'll pull the seats out and make sure we work through the computer then, just to see if there's any codes left with the seatbelt pre-tensioners and things. And that should be pretty much, I'd like to think this interior will be complete in this van as well today. So I'll do another wee bit and I'll come back. Right, okay, moving inside on a different issue. Well, not an issue, it's fixed. So basically your gear knob here slides on over there, and what it was happening was the previous guy or somebody had obviously taken it off, lost the spring out of it, which means I wasn't getting the gears. So to get this off, when this is sitting, this black plastic thing sits tight over the white part here, and what I simply did, excuse my awkward filming here, is where the black meets the white here. Basically a screwdriver in, lever that up, and it pops off. And then when it pops off, what had happened is this part of the gear stick here that goes inside the gear knob was stuck inside my actual gear knob itself. So I've managed to swap one out of the two, and that gives me a complete unit now. And that just pushes on right down over the top of the square and clicks into place. And then that's it sorted. So what was happening was that was actually engaging, because you have to lift this gear knob. You squeeze this in to get reverse. So that there was no spring tension in that, which means the gears were hard to select. So it's just something for you to look at if you have to. Took me a wee bit of a minute to figure it out, but pretty much screwdriver in off this, just under this white bit here. When you pull it up, you'll see it, and lever it straight up, and that takes that all off, and that's what you're left with. And incidentally, that's your selector cables in there, just so I can show you. That's your selector cables that run down onto the gearbox. You can see the back one as well. So if you're changing gear, the cables, you'll have to change them to the front and then the thread right through to here. So just another wee bit done, and then also obviously the door stripped and all the bits done. We actually robbed the speaker out of this one as well, because I just thought I would check the speakers, and it turned out that one was blowing on the door. So parts van's becoming, there's not going to be very many parts left to sell, I think, by the time I'm finished. So we'll move back on into the interior of this one, get the gears working, and now we'll go for pulling these seats out. Right, okay, started time lapsing that, and it turned into a bit of a nightmare. So front seat bolts, easy. This rear bolt, can't get access to it, so I've got it out to there. It started to stick. So what I actually done is take the seat rail, I'll take the seat screws out and take the seat out complete with that. But it turned out then we were able to move the actual van out from the wall. The passenger seat then had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws, and when you take the last screw, you actually have to slide the seat off, and it leaves the bolt on in place. So I have that driver's seat out, the passenger seat out, that's where I'm talking about here. One of the bolts actually slides into that channel, and a couple of others. So yes, and I know this seat needs cleaned. That'll be the next step of that. And also when I was scavenging parts, I took the fuel flap here because my fuel flap was a bit damaged. So I think that's probably all I need to get off this for now. And lucky enough, the van's rolling pretty easy. A few wee spillages just from moving things with power steering, etc. But I'm not too worried about that. I'll clean the place up and give the floor a good clean whenever we finish the project. So I'll go ahead and I've also removed actually the seat belt. Needed to come out that far side, so remove the seat belt out of that as well. So pretty much I think that's all I need so far out of this interior, and it's obviously looking a bit more sorry for itself now. The door trim etc off and everything else. So I'm just glad I had it sitting here, because these will be footery bits that it's handy to have sitting beside you. So I'll carry on a wee bit and we'll start connecting up the seats into the other van. Fortunately the rains came now, so we'll try and make a bit of space and get it in. Okay, so I've got this seat just set in loosely at the minute. We just want to check what's happening with airbag lights and things. So I've put that in, connected up the seatbelt pre-tensioner. We've connected up this old seatbelt pre-tensioner to this seat, and now I'm just going to go on and have a look and see, because I'll show you here the small spanner and the airbag light. So I'm going to go through the scanner here in the process, and I'm going to have a wee look and see what is happening with the airbag light and kind of reset it. So I'm not going to record this bit because it's a bit messing. I have to do a bit of messing about, and I'll come back to you in a wee second. Right, okay, I've had a bit of a play here and I could probably just show you. So basically how the scanner works is, go through, we're looking for the different model of our car. I'm going to take this in the other hand here. So we're looking for Opel and Vauxhall. We're going to go down. This is 2004, this vehicle. So simply select 2004. I'm going to do manual ID because it's an older vehicle. Which brings me down to the Vivaro. Hopefully you can see this. This is a 1.9 diesel F9Q engine. And that's giving me the details, so I'm just going to confirm that. Now, I've already cheated a wee bit, I've already went through the things. So basically now, when we go in, do an engine scan. It's giving me a glow plug fault, which in the glow plug circuit, you'll see here in codes, heater plug circuit, which is a code 1826. I'm inclined to think that that's something to do with there's glow plugs on the, I'll show you on this vehicle, glow plugs on a water hose which aren't connected in my vehicle, and the wires have been cut as well. So that's going to be my next port of call with that. Now if I do go back, go to clear codes, it'll delete the history of the code. That's okay. Now if I go into codes again, I get nothing. So it's obviously just in the initial startup. It's something I'll look into, but it's nothing I'm too concerned about, because with these vehicles you don't even really need the glow plugs unless it's minus temperatures. But again, I like to fix everything, so that's all we've got on that. And the other issue I was having was with the airbags. Now I'll show you what I did, and just double check this again, and it should be clear. So we're looking for codes, no codes present. Now there was two codes which were to do with lap belts, to do with the belts and the pre-tensioners. And what I actually did with this is, underneath here, this is a seatbelt pre-tensioner. Now this is going to be mounted on the side of the seat. This is what the plugs were for underneath, these plugs here. These plugs go onto these, and these pre-tensioners fire in an accident, pull the seatbelt in nice and tight. So on both sides there was a few issues with them. The far side, the wires were actually unplugged. I'm not going to be able to get to it, but I'll show you it in the next video. So basically this just needs mounted to the side of the seat. These two are plugged in, and that's everything clear. And as I say, aside from just the seatbelt being clicked in and the door open, that's the dash all clear and everything running perfect. So it was just to show you how we'll go through these. I was trying to do it at the time, it was hard to film, so I just wanted to show you after. So I'm pretty happy with the progress today, and with the progress that's it all running. So like I say, a wee bit of cleaning in the interior next, and we'll get these seats bolted in properly. The seatbelt pre-tensioner mounted onto it, and basically that's everything in the interior. It does have a crack window over the far side, which I'm not sure you can see yet. So I'm going to be getting the window taken out of this one, just because it's here, and getting swapped over, and that should be everything in the interior and everything sort of around the engine bay and everything else finished. And next then we're going to take the ply lining out of this fan and put it into this fan, and might have to modify a few bits. So that is going to be the end of this part, and I look forward in the next part to doing a few cosmetic things, a few fun things. Now we know everything's working. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, it's a free thing to do, and you'll be able to keep track on various projects that I'm doing, and basically progress of the van, motorbikes, everything else that I do. And also, if you share the content, if you like what you're seeing, it helps me greatly, so it does, and it gets my videos recommended, and it means then I know I'm doing the right sort of thing, and it's worth making the effort for to show you the videos. because I enjoy doing it, and I seem to be getting more and more subscribers, so it's only a good thing. So thank you very much again, and I'll see you in the next video.